State-run Syrian TV says more missiles have been sent over the country, this time near Homs, targeting an airbase there. No details being given as to who may be behind them, media simply stating that Syria's air defences have confronted a new aggression. Well, to get the latest, we can cross to Leila Moulana Allen in Beirut. Leila, what more are Syrian media saying about those strikes?
So very early this morning, we got reports that Shariat base, which is near Homs, had been attacked by 6 missiles and that they'd all been intercepted and shot down. Now, that was reported both on Syrian state media TV and also by Hezbollah's media arm. Now, that's the first attack that was announced, and that was a base that in 2017, after the Khan Sheikhoun massacre, the chemical weapons attack there, the American government, that's the one that they bombed, and there were 59 missiles launched on it. So this would be a natural place for an attack to happen. However, the US government is saying they were not in the area. This has nothing to do with them. So that's the first one. We are actually getting reports also of a second attack at the al-Dumair base, which is to the northeast of Damascus, of 3 missiles there. Hezbollah Media TV is reporting that that happened, but that hasn't yet been confirmed by Syrian state TV. Now, that base, al-Dumair, is where we think that this chemical weapons attack, where it was launched from, and it's been used as a forward for the whole siege of Eastern Ghouta until Eastern Ghouta fell back into Syrian government hands on Friday. Now, as I said, this has happened at the moment mostly through Hezbollah's media arm coming forward. It is very possible that this was the Israeli government. They have said that they do not, a military spokesperson said they do not comment on such things, but they do fairly regularly, they're engaged in this conflict, they fairly regularly attack Iranian militia-backed militia bases in Syria. So it's possible that that was the case. And yesterday, the second-in-command of Hezbollah came forward and he said that last week they had an attack on the T4 base, which is where the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is based, their main base in Syria. There'd been an attack there where 7 of these Revolutionary Guards were killed. And he said an Iranian response is definitely coming, and Israel would regret their actions. So while unconfirmed whether this was Israel, given that it was none of the Western allies, from what we've heard, possible that this is the case. Now, that is another part of the conflict that's ongoing there between, as we know, we have both the Russians and the Iranians supporting President Assad's government, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel has said he is determined to eradicate those Iranian bases inside Syria. So this possibly another side of that conflict. There were also some noises heard over the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, which is where a lot of the Hezbollah bases are and is just on the border with Syria. Overnight noises heard there. And it's possible this is a side of the conflict that could ignite again. It's not that long ago that there was a war between Israel and Hezbollah and Lebanon by extension in 2006. So another side of the conflict to watch there.
OK, absolutely. No confirmation, but clearly a reason to be suspicious there, Leila. Meanwhile, of course, this comes just days after the US, UK and France did carry out a series of airstrikes on Syria. They were responding to that suspected chemical attack in Douma. 10 days on now, and the international chemical watchdog investigators still haven't been allowed in.
Yes, so quite a situation here with the inspectors who were supposed to go in Friday night, didn't go in Friday night. That's why the attacks on Saturday morning were quite unexpected, because it was unexpected that they would happen while inspectors were in there. They did finally arrive on late Saturday afternoon. However, they still have not been allowed in. Yesterday, the British embassy saying they were being blocked from the site. The Russian government coming back and saying, Moscow says, we are fully open to cooperation. However, at this point, there are safety problems to do with the missile strikes by the US government, France and Britain on Saturday. So unclear exactly what's happening. Now, those Western allies are accusing Russia of obscuring the site and tampering with the evidence. Now, it's already been 10 days. We know that chlorine gas, which is one of the things that's suspected to have been used, one of the chemicals suspected to be used, lasts about a week in blood and urine. Nerve agents, which are also suspected to be used, last even less. And we've heard reports that the Syrian government has been trying to stop evacuees from Ghouta smuggling samples out. But we also know that independent US government inspectors managed to smuggle some samples out to Jordan, and they said they tested definitely positive for chlorine gas and possibly a nerve agent. However, the Russian government saying they did their own samples and nothing there at all. So that's two separate governments who have already done tests, but neither of those obviously ratified by the UN in the way that their chemical weapons watchdog, the OPCW, would be. So at this point, unclear exactly what their role is once they do finally get in. However, there is now this resolution on the table at the UN from the US, the UK and France, asking for a full report, an independent report from the UPCW within 30 days. That's now their role.
Okay, Leila, thanks so much for your insight there on the situation in Syria. Leila Maulana Allen there reporting for us.